Thank you for thinking I was this tall. I appreciate that. All right, it seems like we are ready to go. So, hello, thank you for your patience while we got this all figured out. And thank you for coming downtown tonight. I am Teresa Bolton. I'm the director here at the Central Library. I also have the honor of working at the Reese Library, and I bring that up whenever I can when there's a nature program, because I like to point out that our little neighbor down on the west side has a seed library. So if you're into nature, which I think some of you might be, you can go down the street and get some free seeds. Maybe plant something that brings birds into your yard. Not these guys, but other birds. So why owls in particular? It is our new logo, is an owl. So what better way to celebrate the 150th anniversary of this wonderful institution than to bring in an owl? It also happens to be the 20th anniversary next month of the Central Library in this place. So what better way to celebrate that than have an owl flying through this beautiful Kirk Hall here. So thank you all for coming and playing a little part in that. There's a selfie station over there and a giant library card if you want to get your picture taken at the end. So on to the owls. Right? That's why you're all here. So Yvonne has kept birds since she was 2 years old. She has trekked through rainforests in nearly 20 countries. Her stories and photographs of these experiences have been published in several countries. Two of these birds, Echo and...
They're not here. It's a different show.
Okay. Echo and Eula are not here tonight, but we did get to meet Echo at a staff event last week, and Echo's adorable, and they were on America's Got Talent. So check out her YouTube channel, because it's the videos that they have are amazing. On with the show. Oh, thank you all for coming.
Thank you.
Now go ahead.
Okay. Oh, much better. Good evening, and thank you so much, very much, for coming tonight. We don't like small crowds, you know. It makes me feel unprofessional, so I really appreciate y'all coming. Thanks. We'll get to Swoop and Burbach in a bit, but the first part of this program, as you can see, is a PowerPoint, and hopefully you're going to hear some vocalizations of the species that you'll be seeing. Oh, and I just had eye surgery, so I can't see up close yet, so I'm going to have to use this. The velociraptor from Mongolia lived 70 million years ago, had wings and feathers over its body instead of lizard skin, as portrayed in the Jurassic Park movies. Howard, could you get my little glasses for me, please? I think they'll be better than this. The meat eater with enormous claws weighed only 30 pounds soaking wet and achieved the height of 3 feet max. We show you this because of the beak structure and mention of feathers. The flightless and extinct Cuban giant owl reached 3 feet 7 inches in height and was extinct at least 8,000 years ago. Huh? What? Yeah, it should be my little glass. Is there a glass case in there? Oh. Oh, just a glass case, huh? Okay. But in the lower right corner is a depiction of a Cuban owl and a nearly extinct mammal in battle with it. I like this. Owls just want to have fun. The burrowing owls, they're so cute. Oh, I better change the page here. In this slide program, you'll learn about North American owls and hear some of their vocalizations. You will grasp an idea how playful they can be, as you can see with these burrowing owl images. Has anyone seen burrowing owls in person? You have? I've seen them in Florida. There's a lot of them in Arizona. Okay, I got a lot to maneuver here. Oh, thank you. Okay, already, thank you. People don't realize owls live about everywhere, even in caves. Ancient cave-dwelling humans heard screech owls and along with others painted or carved them on cave walls, some of which have been dated 35,000 years old. Radiocarbon dating conducted on charcoal samples from wall paintings determined many of the works dated back 36,000 years. In some caves, scientists determined Stone Age artists added dozens of more paintings to the wall 5,000 years later. Okay. Sorry. Ancient cave-dwelling humans heard screech owls and along with others painted or carved them on the cave walls, some of which have been, didn't I just read this? Okay. This is an older PowerPoint here, so some of the little bit might be off. I love this. You're hearing dispute vocalizations with two pairs of territorial owls. You can tell by the color of the owl's eyes the time of day that it hunts. Owls with the yellow eyes hunt mainly during the day and are called diurnal. Owls with dark eyes hunt during the night and are, of course, nocturnal. Now, owls with the orange eyes, like these, hunt at dusk or dawn and are called crepuscular, which is where our owls fall into that category. So if you read the last paragraph on this slide, if you look into an owl's ear, you can see the back of their eye. Of course, you have to move the feathers, but. Is there a vocalization? I guess not. Okay. Owls have a highly developed sense of hearing. Their ears are located on the sides of their head, behind the eyes, and are covered by the feathers. Some species have a distinct facial disc, which acts like a radar dish, guiding sounds into the ear openings. The shape of that disc can be changed using special muscles in the owl's face. The ear tufts, the little feathers sticking up on an owl, have nothing to do with their ears or hearing. They are only display feathers, helping them to look big and strong. Now, owls hear prey moving through the ground cover, such as leaves, foliage, or even snow. When it hears a noise, the owl is able to tell its direction because of the slight time difference for that sound to be perceived in each ear. For example, if the sound was to the left of the owl, the left ear would hear it before the right ear. An owl can also tell if the sound is higher or lower by using the asymmetrical or uneven ear openings. The owl then turns its head to the sound so it arrives at both ears simultaneously. Then they know the prey is right in front of it. This is a caterwauling pair of barred owls. I just love to hear them calling, especially this time of year, which is their breeding season, typically from January through March, sometimes a little later. Okay. So the female spotted owls in most environments are severely endangered by old-growth Pacific Northwest deforestation, where they nest in cavities of ancient evergreens. In a territorial encounter, especially after sunset and dawn, they become very vocal with female vocalizations higher in pitch. It's hard to tell. That's a female, this is a male. Oh. A lot of owl calls tonight. With a 3.5-foot wingspan and an 18-inch body length, it feeds primarily on wood rats and flying squirrels. Let you listen to this for a second. That's cool. Each nesting pair needs a large amount of land for hunting and nesting and will not migrate unless they experience drastic seasonal changes such as heavy snows, which make hunting difficult. If you're not real familiar with owls, it can be very difficult, unless you have a comparison like this, to tell a barred owl from a spotted owl. The barred owls, of course, have the downward lines on their chest. The deforestation of the spotted owl's old-growth forest habitat has created younger forest habitats for the more adaptable barred owls. I was recently told by a Fish and Wildlife rep in Oregon that barred owls are slowly migrating from the east to the west. And what happens is the barred owls will either mate with them, creating a hybrid species, and the government will not protect any hybrids, or they can also kill them and eat them. So, back in the 1980s, the logging industry was denied clear cutting of the Pacific Northwest due to the endangerment status of spotted owls. Shortly thereafter, a few individuals illegally released barred owls into spotted owl territory. Now, one of 11 barn owls worldwide, the barn owl has the round, white, heart-shaped facial disc that distinguishes its family from typical owls. Laboratory studies have proven that these owls not only locate prey by sound alone, but can differentiate among prey species. So here is their sound. Kind of sounds more like a frog. Isn't that scary sounding? The connection between owls and ghosts may come from the barn owl. Their white and silent glides through a graveyard like a ghost with bone-chilling shrieks would surely spook anybody. Their preferred nesting sites, abandoned farm buildings, are being demolished and endangering these birds. Nesting in farm buildings and silos is where the barn owl derives its name. The great horned owl. They're, of course, our largest native owl in Missouri and Kansas. These guys, you can see fly 40 miles an hour. I think that's pretty impressive. One of the most widespread and recognized North American owls, the great horned owl, is capable of taking prey 3 times its weight, including rabbits, skunks, opossums, and occasionally a small dog. Yeah, so if you got those cute little puppy dogs, you better go out with them when they take a wee-wee. Pair duets can be heard through our country, mostly during late winter and early spring prior to egg laying. great horned owls are most often killed by illegal shooting, trapping, collision with high-tension wires, or car strikes. Great horned owls are occasionally killed by members of their kind over available nesting sites. The genus Bubo includes both the great horned owls, which is Bubo virginianus, and our smaller distant cousins to the Eurasian eagle owl, which is called Bubo bubo, and his name is Bubo. Sometimes you get so many animals you can't remember their names, so if you call them by their genus name, you can remember it. Whoops. Okay. And we won't see great grays down here. They actually migrate from Canada into the Pacific Northwest. With an impressive 5-foot wingspan, the great gray owls have the largest dimensions of all North American owls and is only outweighed in the United States by the female great horned owl. The two flat discs forming its face give owls a triangulation or three-dimensional type of hearing. I don't know if you've ever seen a nature program where they use the snowy owl a lot. We'll hear lemmings under the snow, and they fall down or they fly down and just jab their talons through the snow and come right up with the lemming. And that's what this guy did. These satellite dishes with their deep, soft feathers funnel sound towards the owl's ears, located just behind the disc edge. This species occurs only in the northeast and northwest United States and builds their nest atop dead trees, as you can see in the lower right photo, with two chicks in the cavity. Now, this owl is thought to only breed in the old boreal or cone-bearing forests. The boreal owl can be found throughout Alaska and as far south as New Mexico. It is an occasional winter visitor to the northern states and has a very similar call as the northern saw-whet owl. The diurnal ferruginous pygmy owl weighs just 2 to 3 ounces, but manages to include small birds in its diet. Native to the southwestern United States and Mexico, the cactus pygmy owl is similar in appearance to its high-altitude relative, the northern pygmy owl, but can be distinguished by reddish-brown or the ferruginous bars on its longer tail feathers. And see the back of the head, that looks like the owl's eyes there, doesn't it? And my husband just got back from Arizona trail riding, and I told him these saguaros, it takes them 50 to 75 years for them to grow one arm. So that gives you an idea of how old that cactus is. And you can see that there are a lot of, it starts out usually as a woodpecker hole, and then larger birds will go in it and make it a little larger when they use the nest. Now, having spent a lot of time in Arizona, the cactus ferruginous pygmy owl is threatened by the loss of 85% of that state's riparian areas due to the spread of invasive species and increase in fires. Nearly all wild animals, trees, and cactus depend on the waterways of riparian areas. Buffalo grass was widely planted as forage grass and is one of the most invasive species in the Sonoran Desert. The desert has a patchy distribution of native vegetation, whereas the prolific seeding buffalo grass forms a continuous cover, allowing species that are not well allowing fires, to travel across vast areas, which kill the saguaros and other native plant species that are not well adapted to fires. The elf owl is one of the 2 smallest owls in the world. Only one other owl in a small region of Peru is close to being this small. This owl's small size, desert habitat, and nocturnal nature make it easily distinguished from any other species in its range. It is one of the most migratory owls in North America that completely leaves the United States in winter. A lot of hawks migrate down to Central and South America too, Mexico. This tiny species inhabits the southern United States and reaches about 6 inches when fully grown, with a 15-inch wingspan. Elf owls subsist on large insects, which they capture in mid-flight. They can be found nesting in woodpecker cavities in southeast Arizona, where riparian sycamores and cottonwoods provide homes. A diurnal hunter, the snowy owl preys mainly on voles, lemmings, and other rodents. Females lay 3 to 11 eggs, and unlike many other owls, prefer nesting on the ground. She will sit on the eggs until they hatch a month later. The male will bring her food, ensuring her house so she can keep the eggs warm and safe. Did you hear that, Howard? Where are you? In a month, the eggs hatch and the owlets leave the nest, but the parents care for them another 10 weeks or more. And those are about the cutest little baby owls you'll ever see, aren't they? Unusual sound. Because males do much of the hunting in snow, they are mainly white, and the females have more black or brown markings on their body, which help them blend in with their surrounding. Snowy owl numbers fluctuate naturally with the availability of lemmings, its favorite prey species. To give you an idea how plentiful lemmings are, one snowy owl can eat 4 or more lemmings a day, equaling 1,600 in a year's time. Now, typically, every 4 years, lemming populations crash. They fail to nest, causing their population to drop. The availability of food the year before means most all chicks survived, yet now the year-old owlets are forced to migrate south, where our topography and animal forms are very different from what they are used to do. Has anyone seen a snowy owl here? Yeah, they come quite frequently. A lot of them don't survive, just as I read, because they don't recognize our food sources here. And a lot of them starve to death, unfortunately, and get hit by cars too, I've seen. This is a common bird you can see here in Missouri. The short-eared owls are very formidable predators. These birds gather in large numbers over prairies, marshes, and fields where mice and other small rodents are plentiful. Found at both the North and South Poles, this daytime hunting owl circles overhead when stalking prey and glides 6 feet over the ground before striking, and flies into the wind when chasing prey to avoid being scented. That is smart. Let's see here. There you go. I think there's another vocalization on this page. Yeah. Now these are screech owls. You know, we have quite a few of them around too. The western screech owl is a typical night owl, a small yet aggressive owl. They are particularly bold during nesting season and will not hesitate to dive and snap at humans whom they perceive as getting too close to their young. These owls can be found nesting in urban areas, creating unwanted screech owl and human interaction along hiking trails. And there are 3 color morph forms of the screech owls too. This is my favorite owl, the hawk owl. They have large pointed wings and a long tail, which give the northern hawk owl its hawk-like appearance when it's in flight. A circumpolar species, which can be seen at the North or South Pole. They hunt regularly during daylight hours, scanning the open for prey, but are equally adept in the darkness of a northern winter. And this owl is not afraid of humans and does nest near populated areas. Oh. Beautiful bird. Oops. Okay. There we go. An inhabitant of the open and dry prairie landscape, the long-legged burrowing owls imitate the prairie rattlesnake hiss to flush out rabbits, prairie dogs, skunks, and armadillos from their tunnels. They can then take over the tunnels to live in. They line these burrows with cow dung, which mask their scent to predators and attract dung beetles, one of their favorite food sources. And note that these owls do not have feathers on their legs and feet because they couldn't keep them clean being on the ground most of the time. These birds fly low to the ground, so getting buzzed by one of them is not really a sign of aggression. Flammulated means little flames, referring to the line of red-orange feathers down the back. Females are 7 inches, and they often migrate into Mexico and Central America during the winter months. They are mostly insectivorous and eat moths, beetles, grasshoppers, and crickets. Only one instant has it been found one of these birds ate a mammal, which was in Canada. And I love the camouflage capabilities of this species too. Yep, sorry here. The northern saw-whet owl gets its common name from its alarm call, which has been likened to a saw blade being sharpened. This 8-inch nocturnal owl lives in dense deciduous forests, seeking out a variety of insects, voles, shrews, flying squirrels, and birds. I'm sorry, I get a kick out of these vocalizations. I love it. Okay, I think I'm gonna have to hit this to get the sound. There, yeah. The long-eared owls are one of only a handful of owl species that roost communally in groups of 2 to 20 birds during the winter in thick, brushy, dense forests. This resourceful species, instead of building their own nest, reuse the stick nests of magpies, crows, and ravens. Oh, these are defensive postures. When an owl protects their young or defends themselves, or even these two get too close together, they will assume a defensive posture to make themselves look much larger. As you can tell by the upper middle picture, even owlets will use the posturing to protect themselves. Now, aerial combat of short-eared owls, or even kestrels or other falcons with owls, can occur over the stealing of a lunch. Note the owls in the lower left photo. If the upside down owl doesn't immediately correct its posture, it could break its wings, rendering it helpless against predators. However, eagles and owls flip upside down to defend themselves with their talons. Geese twist their necks to flip their bodies upside down to cause their wings to generate more drag to slow them down. This is called whiffling. I don't think that was supposed to say geese, but that's what I said. Owls' eyes are fixed in their sockets, so they have the ability to turn their heads around or even upside down, 280 degrees. Owls have twice the number of vertebrae as humans in the back of their necks. In humans, the hole in the vertebrae is about the same size as the artery, but in owls, the hole is about 10 times larger than the artery, creating air sacs which cushion the twisting motion of the head. So you're supposed to hear one of these go, is it finally over? Yes, now we can meet the real live owls. Oh, thank you. Okay, now this is Bubo. I'm going to leave him here. She is much more comfortable here than he is. Now the Eurasian, well, this bird has cataracts in his eyes. And I believe his right eye is completely covered. We've been taking him down to OSU, Oklahoma State, where they have incredible veterinarians and of course, ophthalmology veterinarians too. So they wanted to wait until he was almost completely blind to do the surgery. Birds are very, very delicate, and you cannot use a normal anesthesia on them. You have to use isoflurane or sevoflurane. And after 2 minutes, the birds stop breathing, and you have to do the breathing for them with a tube down their throat. So some birds don't even wake up on the table. You know, it's just so we all didn't want to risk his death until even the left eye is getting more developed now too. But as you found out earlier, their genus species name is Bubo, B-U-B-O, and that's why he's named Bubo. Actually, Bubo was hatched in a living room of a friend of mine. He's a wildlife biologist and falconer. And so it could be the sun created these cataracts. Nobody really knows. There's several different reasons for them. And a lot of wild birds get them. They have done a lot of surgeries on great horned owls' eyes with cataracts, and they have put lenses in them. Now, these eyes are too big for lenses, but the lenses have eventually slipped in the great horned owls. So I don't know what they're doing now. I guess some probably are, some aren't. I'll go pick up Swoop. Oh, before I forget, we have another owl over here. Do you want to show us your owl? Can you come up here? You're daddy, and you can come up if you want. Yeah, what a cutie pie. Hi. And what's your son's name?
You want to tell her your name?
No.
No?
This is Camden.
Camden. And what is your bird's name?
Bird.
Birds.
Bert.
For Albert.
Oh yeah, Albert. Yeah, we have a friend that has an owl called Albert. Well, isn't that a pretty owl, and isn't he a darling little boy? Thank you so much for bringing him up. So up here, have any of you dissected any owl pellets when you were younger? Oh, a lot of you. Good. Well, owl pellets, I tell everybody, they're not poop, they're not puke, okay? The birds cannot digest the feathers and bones or fur and bones of what they eat. So Mother Nature has them cough up owl pellets. And they're very, very clean. Birds have very little saliva in their mouth. They actually absorb more bacteria from the air than they do from being coughed up. And when I feed these guys a larger rat, this is the size of their owl pellets. Pretty big. And I brought a few. If you guys want one, take home, dissect them, you can. But they're really interesting. Oh, you know what I forgot? Well, it doesn't matter. Then Teresa was kind enough to print out some camouflaged pictures of these owls. Well, here, let me start on this one. Maybe that'll be best, and we'll do a couple rows at a time. There you go. You know what camouflage means? Mm-hmm. What's it mean?
It means birds, they look the same as what their habitat.
Wow, good explanation. Yes, very good. There you go. Well, that's impressive. There you go. I guess I should have had somebody else do this. Sorry. There you go, big guy. There you go. And I'll give you guys one to look at. There's still one. You want one? Okay. Well, I'm hoping you'll share those, pass them around. And some owls, I've had 2 of these. This is called a spectacled owl. And this is the largest type of owl in Central and South American rainforests. And what's interesting is they have a complete color change when they mature. And this is how they look as an adult owl. These are very sweet birds, very, very sweet birds. Not grumpy like some that I know. Okay. Hi. I mentioned to somebody earlier, both these birds are being pretty vocal because it's their breeding season. Okay. Howard, could you lay the perch down for me? Thank you. She's trying to fly to her perch, so I want her to stay with me. Oh, there it went. Okay, you go get him, okay? Sorry, I should have known. Calm down, honey, it's okay. Come here.
We're about to go on a blind date.
Well, I wanted you to see their wingspan. Why don't you just hold Bubo, if you can get him on the glove. Hard to get footing on this slick floor. Oh. Why don't you hold him, okay? He'll be more comfortable that way. I just wanted you guys to see the wingspan of the great horned owls. Now, if this were a bird in the wild, females are usually always larger than males. And if she were a wild owl, Eurasian eagle owl, she could have up to a 7-foot wide wingspan. And not many birds have this red-orange eye color, when she was hatched, by the way, I ordered this bird's egg to be laid at a zoo and waited an entire year for that egg. And then I told them I'd like her to be parent fed in case I ever breed these guys. Then they have a clue, she'll have a clue to know what to do. And so I picked her up on day 9 because that's when birds open their eyes. And I wanted her to see me and think I'm her mama. So she'd be a good education bird. So these birds, the Eurasian eagle owl, comes from Europe, Asia, Russia, and Northern Africa. Now there is another owl in Northern Africa the same size as the wild Eurasian owl, and that is the, oh gosh, now what's his name? The Verreaux's eagle owl. But the Eurasian eagle owls outweigh the Verreaux's, and so they consider this the largest species of owl in the world. These birds are great flyers. Now Swoop, she will be 16 on March 30th. It's her birthday. And I don't remember when Bubo was born. Honey, why don't you just take him behind that pillar, okay? Bubo is not too used to coming out. And Swoop is. You can see what a difference it makes in their behavior and calmness. Okay, so when she hatched out of an egg, her eyes were yellow. And then when she turned about 4 months old, she got the red pigment in them, which shows she is a crepuscular species. Owls have 3 sets of eyelids, 2 that open and close like ours, and 1 that opens sideways. And that is called a nictitating membrane. Let me go take care of Bubo, poor thing. Yeah, could you please? Thank you. Sorry. You want to put him in the carrier, hon? Howard, why don't you put him in the carrier? Huh? Excuse me, sorry about this. There you go, baby. Gladly, she says, or he says. Okay. All right. And we'll get this one out of the way. Okay, now maybe with no interruptions. I have some good friends of mine. They manage a wildlife center, and they don't like keeping Swoop with them at night because she calls in all the other owls. It keeps them awake all night. Okay, come here. All right, hold on. Well, my goodness. It's okay. They do this. Birds will do this a lot. Predators, anyway. Come on. Okay. We were talking about the nictitating membrane. Now, you have to stare at an owl quite long to see that nictitating membrane, but a lot of animals have that, cats and crocodiles and things like that. Now, they don't see in color, which is one reason that they're usually just in tans and browns or blacks and whites. Parrots, of course, they see in color, and those bright colors of those parrots help attract them, you know, and help them identify their own species. Oh, I'm so sorry. I hope that didn't hurt. Are you sure? Yeah, let me see. I'm just teasing you. I'm sorry. That wasn't nice. Now, as you learn too, these ear tufts, they do a little bit funnel the sound to their ear, and they hear in a three-dimensional or triangularity method of hearing. It's amazing. And they're, the reason that owls can turn their heads almost a little over 3/4 the way around, 280 degrees. Their eyes are set in their sockets, so they cannot move their eyes, so they can't look up and down or to the side. But with that ability to turn their heads, and they almost look robotic, I know when they do, they really don't need to do that. What's fascinating is if you've ever seen a bird of prey flying through the woods, chasing a rabbit and dodging the trees, and that head stays perfectly straight, and it's just incredible how fast they go. Now these owls, the Eurasian eagle owls, are an apex predator. They don't really have any predators that prey on them in the wild. They really like it up high in a very cold region. And they're too large to nest in a tree cavity, so they will use their talon and their beak to carve out a half circle in a cliff, and that's where they raise their young. Oh, and owls' eggs, by the way, are very round, which I think that's why owls have big eyes, because they have to lay those big round eggs. Yeah, their hearing is so acute. Now, all birds' ears are behind their eyes, and of course they're covered with feathers, so we don't see them. But their hearing has been tested. Well, let me explain this. A nocturnal owl or a crepuscular owl, their right ear is up higher on their head. And every ear opening has a movable flap that they can open and close independently to hear more efficiently. And new research has shown that an owl can hear a spider in the grass 100 yards away, the length of a football field. They can hear a mouse a half a mile from where they're at. Isn't that incredible? Yeah. And not all owls have a silent flight. For instance, your snowy owls don't, but a lot of them do. And they have these, oh, I brought some feathers. The tips of their primary flight feathers are kind of like almost a tiny zigzag, and they muffle the sound of their wings. There's only one animal in the United States that can hear the sound of an owl's wing, and that is a Sonoran desert mouse in Arizona. I'm going to demonstrate how quiet their wings are. I'll try and get her to gently flap. No sound. She loves you too. Oh, now, as Teresa said, we're going to try and fly her in here. You know, she's very observant. She might go up that floor. She might head towards the windows. If somebody could stand by these doors over here, and if she starts to go too close, just go like that. So I'm going to need, is Teresa here? Oh, where is she? Oh, do you want to do this, or you want to choose someone from the audience? What we're going to...
I want to choose someone from the audience.
Okay. Oh, hi. He helped us in. Okay. Tell me your name again.
Alex.
Alex. You know, I was thinking Alex. I remembered it started with an A. So because I trained the birds myself, I didn't have a companion to help fly her back and forth from glove to glove. So she is trained to fly to her perch. Can you let him hold it up? And I just want you to see how gentle her landing is. Uh-huh. Oh, hold on. That was a little premature.
Just set it back down. Gradually, set it down. She won't bother you.
Come here, hon. Come on. Come here. You see those talons that they have? These are lethal weapons to hawks and eagles and owls. Some places wouldn't even allow them in the library like this because they're so deadly. Okay, yeah, lift it up. So I just want you to see that she has a very gentle landing, okay? All right, okay. So what I'm going to do, you can put it down if you would, thank you. I'm going to take Swoop over here and I will ask if you are ready, which means you've got that up in the air. So when you say yes, I will ask for you to call her name twice, Swoop, and then I'm going to turn around and she'll probably fly over everybody. She likes to show off. Okay. But this demonstrates, now she's going to be facing this way, but she'll hear his voice over there. And so when I turn around, hopefully she will go right where she's supposed to. Are you ready? And would you call her name, please? Isn't that pretty? What'd she look like flying at you like that? One of you, we'll have one more. Who else wants to do it? Oh, I'm going to let you choose, Teresa. Oh, you're going to have sweet owl dreams.
There we go, thank you.
They get a little picky, the hats.
Yeah.
Come here.
Oh, you were gorgeous.
Oh, yeah, good question. The longest lived eagle owl in captivity was 68 years old. In birds, the larger they are, the longer lived they are. So. After she eats a rat, she weighs like 9 pounds. And Bubo is smaller, being a male, and he weighs about 6 to 7 pounds. Okay, are you ready? Could you call her name? Oh, there she goes. Okay. Where is she? Oh, she went to the cafe.
You want me to go get her perch?
No, she'll fly back there. Hey, babe. Now I'm going to have to come up steps to get you. Okay. That's a good girl. Okay, that was fun, wasn't it, huh? But now you got to show them you can fly to the perch. Okay. Oops. I was afraid that tail would catch that sign. And I didn't ask your name. What is your name? What'd you say? Owl. Imagine that. Okay, yeah. Well, no, she wants to probably how she lands. That's okay. Go ahead. Maybe a little lower because she's with me here. Okay. All righty. Now, I'm going to take her back here just like we did before. And we're all going to hope that she'll fly right to you. So you can kind of see their personalities, can't you?
Yes.
Hold on. Okay, Al, are you ready? Would you please call her name a couple times? Very good. Thank you. Let's give our volunteers a big hand. That takes bravery. Thank you. Yeah, I will. Now, why, if you see her throat moving in and out, yeah, I better, where is her? Oh, here. She is panting. Birds' body temperatures are 106 degrees, and they don't sweat like we do. Of course, they don't have those mammalian glands, so they pant just like a dog or cat. And if she was super hot, yeah, I'll probably leave her here. You want to hold on to that? She was super hot. I'm going to get her here in the center, okay? She could open up her wings and lift every feather on her body to let colder air get to her core. So you don't get to see that very often, do you? I thought about bringing some dinner and letting you see how they rip the head off first. Does anybody have any questions for us? Yes, sir.
Do you ever fly her outside?
I do not. She has flown herself outside. And the way that I found her was listening to the birds and the squirrels freaking out. And one time she landed right next to a big hot tub, and she landed on the ground, and she can't, they can't see up close. And she's going, giving that threat posture. Another time, that carrier that she came in, a gentleman was helping us into a retirement home, and somehow her carrier fell down, popped the door off, and I had them always attached to the door. And so she flew over Highway 1 with that door behind her. But Bubo, he used to be a falconer bird, and so he could be flown outdoors, but not with his bad eyes right now.
Can you tell us how old Bubo was?
I did not. Bubo is 20. Yeah.
So are they both kind of teenagers if they live to be like 60?
Yeah. Well, I have hyacinth macaws. They're the largest species of parrot, and they can actually live 100 years with the proper nutrition and everything. And believe me, I'm a slave to my birds. We chop up fresh vegetables and fruit every day, and we cook for them. And if we ate like they did, we'd be a lot trimmer and healthier.
Well, not how they eat though, right?
Yeah, my parents. Yes.
No cooking for you, only mouse.
How did you get into doing this? Oh, I told Teresa my story, didn't I? When I was a young girl, of course, we all love animals, and I just prayed and prayed that one day I could do something to benefit wildlife, because giving money to all these wildlife corporations just wasn't fulfilling me. And so I graduated from college as a horticulturist, and I have a huge greenhouse home just packed with plants. And I was growing flowers at Coolcrest. Are you all familiar with Coolcrest in Independence? Well, it is miniature golf. And actually, right after the Depression, my grandfather wanted to build miniature golf courses, but nobody had money And so he got laughed out of all the banks. And so my grandparents, who opened one in Lincoln, Nebraska, 48th and O, and my great aunt and uncle, they had one right across the street from Gage Park in Topeka. And my dad's sister and her husband, my aunt and uncle, they have one in St. Joe. But they have passed away, so it's not in the family anymore. But my grandfather, being an Irishman, all the others were Germans, but he was the first one to incorporate a windmill on a miniature golf course. Anyway, so I had a cockatoo, which I still have. My parents bought me this Moluccan cockatoo. It's one of the big white ones with the salmon crest, and he is 54 years old now. He, of course, was wild caught, and they estimated he was about 6 or 8 months when I got him. So, now where was I going? Oh yeah, so I'm growing these beautiful flowers, and people are just in awe with the birds' beauty and their intelligence, and they want to see them do something or talk, and so that gave me the idea to open up a bird exhibit that you would walk through, and you'd see all these beautiful birds, toucans and owls and parrots, and even had a finch aviary on the side with a little waterfall. And it was a wonderful, wonderful display. And I started going into the countries of their origin to learn more about them. And that's when I became internationally published. I've never had any journalism training at all. But it's been a wonderful experience, wonderful, wonderful experience. So that's how I got into it. Yes, ma'am.
Do you allow visitors to where you have birds?
Yes, we do. We're a 501c3, and we sure do for a donation.
And where is that?
We are north of Pleasant Hill. If you know where 7 and 150 highways meet, we're in that area.
Okay. And what is it called?
Wings of Love, Inc. Okay. Yeah, I have some cards up here. Yes, ma'am.
My same question.
Oh, you were asking the same question. Well, good. Well, yeah, and Howard, he has horses, and we have percherons and a lot of Missouri foxtrotters, and of course we got chickens, and right now we're into raising silkies, the feathery ones. And
Here's the last question.
if they wanted to come out and visit, you can. We're a nonprofit, and so we just ask for a donation because it's going to take at least 2 hours to see everything. Yeah, glad you asked that. Yes, my friend. Hi. What's your question?
Do you allow visitors to hold the owls?
Oh, no. That kind of takes a little training. Oh. But I'll tell you what, when everyone is leaving, you and your dad can step over close to her and we'll take your picture. How's that sound? And you be sure and bring your buddy, too. Any other questions? Yes, sir.
Can they hear or understand other species of owls?
Oh, definitely, yeah. And all those vocalizations you heard, there are even more to all those types of owls because they have alarm calls. They have, food when they're bringing it to the nest. The babies clack and make that little feeding, begging noise. And so it's really interesting. But this time of year is when you really hear a lot of the owls caterwauling and stuff like we did. Yes, hon?
How do the owls fly soundlessly?
How they what?
How do they fly without making any noise?
Oh, well, I'll tell you what. If I get these back, you guys can feel how soft they are, and then look at these edges, okay? Because there you can see what muffles the sound of their wings. So I don't know how many I've got here, but I'll give this section 1 and you. There you go, sir.
Oh, thank you.
Uh-huh. I'm not giving it to you, you know. There you go. But yeah, just look at the outside of their primary flight feathers. They're all like that, and it just lets the wind go right through their wings or their feathers. Oh, yes, sir.
I think you said, and I correct me if I'm wrong, please. I think you said, like for owls of concern, that is it the government that doesn't concentrate on or protect cross?
That's right. Yeah, they do not protect any crossed species.
Is there a reason for that, or like are we trying to actively discourage that, or is it just not?
How is it what?
Like, are we trying to discourage that, or is it just not?
Oh, yeah. No, the government is kind of coming down on people with animals a little bit. You know, they're going to get stricter and stricter as the years go by. And of course, we need a permit for these guys. Every time we leave Missouri to go into Kansas, I need a Kansas permit. So, excuse me. Even with parrots, you take macaws, there has been so much hybridization. They've come out with some very colorful species or subspecies, but no, the government does not. For one thing, in the 80s when we mentioned the logging of the Pacific Northwest, well, that was halted because people like us said no. The spotted owl lives there, and they're very, very endangered. Not in all places where spotted owls live are they in danger of becoming extinct, but at least they're threatened. But where they are endangered, they halted all the clear cutting, and the foresters just lost millions of dollars by not cutting down, darn, that beautiful forest, centuries old. So, if you remember, the loggers illegally introduced the barred owl into the spotted owl territory, and they will either crossbreed or kill them and eat them. They're a little bigger. Yeah.
Why do they introduce them?
I'm sorry?
Why do they introduce the owls?
Oh, the loggers introduced the owls so that there would be less spotted owls, and actually the barred owls are kind of migrating from the west to the east anyway, but they did that just so those owls would kill the spotted owls.
So they could have more. So they could have the territories.
Right, and if they crossbreed and there's no pure genetics in there with those spotted owls, they're not going to care at all about it. Yes, son? Thank you.
Everything in this room that we're saying, does the owl hear it very, very loudly?
Oh, yeah. They hear so well. Remember, they can hear a mouse half a mile away. And so, oh, you got feathers too? Thank you so much.
We have time for just a couple more questions. If anyone has like 1 or 2 more questions. We're good. Everyone just wants to get a picture.
Well, I just want to say thank you. Thank you, first, Miss Bolton, for having us out. This has been an honor to be here. And thank you all for coming to see us.